So Pakistani railway minister Bilor puts a $100,000 bounty on the filmmaker of Innocence of Muslims movie. And he's in the government, and he puts out a bounty. So the Pakistani leaders say, hey, we distance ourselves from this guy. Now, Obama did the same thing when the movie came out. We distance ourselves from the movie coming out. But wouldn't it be easy for all Americans to say, look, Pakistan has a bounty on the filmmaker trying to murder somebody for his free speech? But funny how you can distance yourself from somebody, but what if America said, hey, distancing yourself from Bilor isn't enough. You've got to arrest him because now he's a terrorist, because he's appealing to the Taliban to kill somebody who's in America. The same as the Pakistanis might ask us, why don't we kill the filmmaker? So you got to look at these things when they happen in the world and say, okay, what's the responsibility of the government when something happens? Is it Pakistan's responsibility to disavow, distance themselves from a terrorist threat of putting a bounty on someone's head for what they see as their freedom of expression? And where does freedom of expression become an assault? Like, for example, a couple of American soldiers urinated on dead Taliban officers. They just got court-martialed today. It wasn't that the U.S. government just distanced themselves from that behavior. They court-martialed, in a military court, court-martialed these soldiers. So that's us taking an active role and punishing people for being disrespectful. Look, urinating on a dead body doesn't hurt anybody, to be honest. The body's already dead. It's disrespectful. It's grotesque. It is not freedom of expression. See, there's some areas that are so vague, like how do you determine whether someone should be punished for this, whether this is a crime? And what is religious freedom? Is it legal to have a religious debate? Because I'm sure most Muslims and Christians will tell you, I'm fine with a religious debate. But if you can't cross certain lines, then all of a sudden the debate can't happen. Most Muslims and Jews for the most part will tell you how much they love Jesus Christ, what a great guy he is. Muslims even more so than Jews. And I'll hear a lot of Muslims say, hey, look, I don't go around disrespecting Jesus. Why are you disrespecting the prophet? If you're having a true religious debate, it isn't about whether Jesus was a good person, and it isn't about Jesus in general, his character. For Muslims and for Jews alike, it's about that one next step. Is Jesus God? So now imagine you are a Muslim and you're with your Muslim friends and you're sitting around in your house and you're having a little fun religious debate. Not really a debate because there's no Christians around to debate. You're just debating, kind of having fun, talking about how ridiculous Christians are. I've heard this conversation from some Muslim friends about how silly the God being Jesus and Jesus being God and the Trinity, how silly that is. Now, you guys, you're all Muslim, you're all talking, sitting around talking, and then you start saying, yeah, this is really ridiculous. Christ, being born through a woman and with God, and it's just so strange. And then someone makes a joke about it, something funny, and then you're laughing about this joke about how ridiculous the Christians are for thinking that God is Christ and Jesus. Now, someone comes in and they said, I heard that whole conversation. This is a Christian country, and we have Christian laws here. And you've just broken Christian blasphemy laws. Hey, no, we were just expressing our religious opinion. No. When you made that joke about Jesus Christ, you crossed the line. And now you're all going to prison or you're going to be killed. Now, could that same scenario happen? Put yourself in the other shoes. Now, you're Christians and you're in a Muslim country. Strict Islamic law. And you are debating whether or not Prophet Muhammad truly was a prophet. Whether he was a messenger. And then someone makes a little joke about how he really wasn't. And something funny that's offensive. And you're a Muslim and you hear that. Could you go tell the police? And would these Christians be rounded up? My question is, if you really want to have a true religious debate, can you, when there is no ability to have the level of freedom of expression where someone risks getting their feelings hurt. Sometimes debates turn into arguments and feelings get hurt, and people say things that are inappropriate. If you're having a religious debate and you cross the line in a heated debate, do you risk getting your head cut off, going to prison? So that's the danger. A lot of people think they're having true religious debates, but if you're somewhere where you can't really have a debate and a debate's fine as long as you agree, if you're in a place where your conclusion is your conclusion, no matter what, why even bother debating? But again, this, let's say, Innocence of Muslims movie, clearly offensive. But where do you draw the line in the spectrum? One is, playing, say, making Prophet Muhammad look like a pedophile or a womanizer. But then someone saying, well, hey, I've got some data here. I've got some information, some historical data, and I want to try to prove my point that Prophet Muhammad was this, or Jesus Christ was this, or isn't this. Like the new information that came out, there was some old writings that perhaps Jesus had a wife. There was a time where if you brought out a document stating that Jesus had a wife, someone would kill you. Someone in the Christian church, the Catholic Church, would have killed you for that. So anyway, let me know what you think about debates. And where do you draw the line if you're having a religious debate? Where do you draw the line? And where does it become illegal to debate? Let me know what you think.